Hey guys, JT here. Thanks a bunch for joining me. I'm so glad to be back with you. I hope you're doing well, that life's treating you well, you're treating yourself well, and you're sucking the marrow out of life. Hey, if you're like me, you're in the market for a coffee alternative. And there are two reasons for this. Either number one, you don't like the taste of coffee, and that is not me. Or number two, you do not tolerate coffee and caffeine very well, and that's the category I fall into. Now, I love the taste and smell of coffee. My wife and I have 9 coffee making apparatuses. We so enjoy it. We've gone on a lengthy journey of finding the very best coffee beans, the best way to make them, to prepare them, all types of ways, and we've settled on to 1 or 2 of our very favorite. But I began noticing that I was having difficulty sleeping, insomnia, and I have had insomnia for years. And after I purchased the Aura Ring, if you haven't watched my Aura Ring video on this amazing ring as a sleep tracker, I encourage you to watch that. After I purchased this ring in 2021 and began using it, I had some solid data every morning that I woke up with to try to analyze my sleep. And utilizing it, I began to see a pattern with my coffee consumption in my sleep. And after a variety of trial and error, I came to discover that even having 1 cup of coffee in the morning would affect my sleep at night. And we all fall into one of 2 categories of people, either slow metabolizers or fast metabolizers. And one of the best ways to know whether you're a fast or slow metabolizer is to drink coffee and see if it affects your sleep. My wife is a fast metabolizer. She can drink coffee in the afternoon and fall right to sleep at night. I'm a slow metabolizer. If I drink coffee in the morning, it will affect my sleep. I've even tried decaf, and it still has an effect. If I drink decaf in the morning, I can still tell using the Aura Ring that it's affecting my sleep. So as much as I don't want to, as a coffee lover, I've just had to recognize that I need to give it up in order to have good sleep as a slow metabolizer. So what do I substitute it with? I've been in a search for answers, and I've come up with 2. The first offering is Teechino. I discovered this a number of months ago. My wife and I went on a research binge to find some good coffee alternatives. We tried this and found that I really like it. It is so much like coffee, but it is coffee-free, caffeine-free, and yet it tastes a lot like coffee, and the whole experience is coffee-like. It comes in packages such as this snickerdoodle version and this French roast, and there are a wide variety of flavors available. You can purchase these on Amazon and through a wide variety of outlets. And I have tried several. I found some flavors that I really like, others that I don't care for, and have settled in on 3 or 4 flavors that are my favorites. And what I like about the experience is the whole experience is coffee-like. You get it in a package, ground up like this, and you can't get it in coffee beans. My wife and I always prefer to grind our coffee beans with a burr grinder in the morning while we're preparing our coffee so that they're as fresh as possible. But here you get ground up equivalent of coffee beans, and so you can prepare them through traditional ways of heating up water and using any kind of coffee making apparatus that you normally use. So if you have an AeroPress or a Chemex or a Turkish or a French press or whatever technique, or just a drip coffee, whatever you prefer, you can utilize this with the same experience. The taste is very similar to coffee, and so there is a noticeable difference, but once you make the switch and start using this Teechino, the experience is so coffee-like. You can serve it hot or cold, and pretty much it behaves very much like coffee. It's just coffee and caffeine free. It's been a very pleasant experience for me, and so for the past several months I've been making this every day, bringing it in a thermos with me and enjoying it throughout my day, and it does not affect my sleep at all, and so that's been great. But I've been hearing a lot about the MUYD water solution as a coffee alternative, and I know very little about it. Quite intentionally, I wanted to have an unboxing here, and so this video really is going to fit into two sections. First of all, this intro, and then I'm going to go make both of these. I'll film that process, and then I'll come back and have a taste test and give you my impressions, experiences, and some recommendations based on what I've discovered. So let's go ahead and get this one opened. This is the Mudwater VIP kit. And so we have instructions here on the lid on how to start. We have this canister. It has chai, cacao, lion's mane, cinnamon, Himalayan salt, turmeric, and such. So if someone is not drinking coffee because of effects of caffeine, obviously cacao has some caffeine, and so that might be an impact. So for me, I'm going to try this out. Obviously, coffee and cacao are different. Some people may have sensitivity to coffee and they don't have sensitivity to cacao. So I'm going to try this out and see what the experience is like for me in terms of impacting my sleep. We have a manual here, guides, meditations, sleep, assortment of information. We have some coconut milk, MCT oil, a packet here. And then Mudwater Rest. So the Mudwater offering does come in a variety of options based on different types of needs. And then a whip. I decided to go ahead and get this whole kit here, a starter kit, to try out the experience. USB charger, USB micro, this contains the motor and battery based on the weight, I would say. So there you have it. That's an unboxing of the Mudwater VIP kit. Now what I'm going to do is go film the process of making both of these so you can see what the experience is like. I'll do a taste test and be back with you in just a bit. Okay, so there we have it. I've created a hot version of the mud water and of the Teechino, and a cold version that's iced with some soy milk, a little bit of agave added. Are we ready? Let's have a taste. The mud water is interesting. It's very flavorful. It's got a mild amount of spice. It tastes a bit like a chai tea with some cacao in there, but a rich array of other ingredients, and so it comes through with a rich tone of flavor. I like it. Now I'm already familiar with the Teechino. The Teechino definitely tastes more like coffee. It's probably the closest imitation that you can get to coffee without it containing coffee or caffeine. Where there's no mistake about it that the mud water does not taste like coffee at all. Now let's try the cold version. Let's stir it up a bit while I've been doing some of the production work. It's settled and some of the melted ice is on top. The same kind of experience. I like both the hot and cold versions. Sometimes I switch back and forth depending on the time of day and the mood. But in this case, both of them taste really good. The Teechino I'm quite familiar with. This is what I'm more accustomed to drinking. If you like a latte or a coffee-oriented cold drink, then this is a much closer experience. This is a very coffee-like experience. Now I'm going to list the ingredients of both of these on the screen so that you get an idea of what is contained in each of them. Now naturally with the Teechino, the contents vary based on the flavor. Now flavor-wise, they're both very unique. I would say neither one tastes better than the other. They're simply quite different, and both of them taste very good. So, my conclusion is if you're wanting to switch from coffee to a non-coffee drink, but you like the flavor of coffee, but you're really wanting to avoid the caffeine buzz that may be keeping you up at night, then I think the Teechino is the way to go, because you're getting very much that coffee taste, the flavor, and really the whole experience. Whatever your preferred method here, I used a French press today simply because it was easier to bring all the components up into the studio. But whatever your approach methodology is, it will probably work with the Teechino, so you can keep your morning routine and you're going to get an experience that very much tastes like coffee, whether that's hot or cold. Now the mud water experience is quite different. This tastes more earthy. You're getting some chai tastes, a bit of spiciness, and the cacao. And I would say the flavors blend together really well. So if you tend to prefer chai tea or maybe even cacao experience, maybe a hot chocolate, this would probably be somewhere in between a chai tea and a hot chocolate, a mixture of both with some nice rich flavors blending them all together. I would say if you don't want to drink coffee because you don't like the flavor of coffee, but you do like the flavor of chai tea and maybe even hot chocolate or chocolate, I think this is the way to go. The mud water is a good alternative if you're wanting to move away from the coffee taste and possibly the caffeine, then this is a good way to go. Overall, I'm quite pleased. I'm probably going to bring the mud water into my daily routine and have more of a long-term experience with it, see if it does affect my sleep in any way. The founder indicated that he wanted to get away from coffee and the buzz and the insomnia, so that's why he created this. So I've got to think that more than likely this is not going to cause a lot of insomnia. Overall, I think it's a good, positive experience. The flavor's good. You will notice that when I made my first cup, I did not blend it long enough. And so I think that's more of a learning how to make this. I've been making this for months now. This is my first time to make this, and so I'm sure I have some areas where I can improve on the technique and possibly even enhance the flavor. I did have to periodically have a spoon that stirred it and mixed it back up because it tended to break apart. But again, that may very well be my novice experience with working with and preparing the mud water. Well, I'd really like to know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Please let me know if you have any more questions. I'd be glad to do some more experiments and let you know in the comments below. Hey, thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next time, spread the love.